Hi girls, it's Miss Madison. So today we're going to learn a little bit about the layers of soil. So we know that there's a top layer, but we're going to talk a little bit about what lies underneath. And while we do that, we're going to also make it into a little bit of a sweet treat for you all to eat, either cool or warm, depending on what you add to it. So let's get started. Okay, so to follow along with our activity today, all you're going to need is a cup, Oreos, they don't have to be thins, they can be any size, some chocolate chips, graham crackers, and of course you're going to need some gummy worms. So when we talk about the earth and when we talk about the soil, we usually talk about it in layers, and we're going to talk about them from the bottom up since we're going to have to start with the bottom layer. So your bottom layer is going to be your Oreos, and you can either put them in whole if your cup's big enough, or you can crush them up first. I'm actually going to crush them up, and I'm going to separate the cookie from the cream because I'm going to use the cream for another part of this. So you can crush them or put them in whole, but just make sure that you separate the cookie from the cream first. And in order to separate, what I'm doing is I am taking off half of the cookie and putting that in, and then leaving the half that has the cream on it just off to the side to use later. So our next layer is pretty easy. It's just going to be our chocolate chips, and all you're going to do is just open up your bag and pour some chocolate chips in. All right, for the next layer, you're going to need your graham crackers. And all you do for your graham cracker layer is you just break them up like you did the Oreos and put them in. And then we're going to get to our last layer, which is actually going to be what we're going to use the Oreo cream for. So you're just going to scrape it off of the cookie and into this with a spoon. And I will get back to you once I have done that. Okay, you can add more than that if you want to. I am not a big fan of Oreo cream filling, so I didn't put that much in there. But if you wanted more, you could put more. And of course, the last part, since this is, dirt or soil, you can put gummy worms in it. Then you have your little soil diagram. So now that we have this completed, I'm going to talk to you about kind of what each one is. So our first layer, the Oreo layer, is bedrock. This is actually not soil. This is like a sheet of solid rock. And it is, not a lot grows into it. Not a lot's going to grow down into it. It's kind of the foundation or the basis. Then our chocolate chip layer, which you'll notice kind of blends into the bedrock. The chocolate chip layer is also usually some kind of rock, but what's different about this is that it's actually soil. It's what the soil forms from. So the soil will form from this rock down here. Our next layer, which is our graham cracker layer, is our subsoil, and this is just below the soil. This is the material that has moved down from the soil. And what I want you to notice about how we set this up is that if you shake it a little bit, you can not only see the graham cracker move down, but you can also see the Oreo start to kind of crumble and move down too. That's a process called leaching, and that actually happens to soil in real life. It's when soil from the top starts to move down towards the bottom. So you can see that in your little diagram here. And the last bit is, of course, our Oreo cream. That is the topsoil. This is what plants grow in. This is what we dig up. This is what we run on. It's what grass grows in. And, of course, the topsoil is what worms live on, which is what we have on there now. So this is a diagram. This is not a snack yet. I'm going to go grab a couple things that you can put on it, some suggestions to put on it to make it a little more of a sweet treat. And I'm also going to grab a spoon so I can take a bite of it. Okay, so here's some of my suggestions on what you can add to it. You can add ice cream to it if you want to. That'll make it kind of like a cold treat if it's a hot day. Or you can do what I do. You can add syrup. And I like to add both syrups. I have chocolate and strawberry, but you can add one or the other. I'm just weird and I like both. And just like that, you have your little treat and you have a diagram of soil, and you can make this anytime, and you can always switch out for stuff. If you don't like graham crackers, you can use sugar cookies. If you don't like Oreos, you can use like chocolate chip cookies. Pretty much everything in this you can switch out for something else or change it up. You can just make it into your own little personalized diagram. So I am going to leave you with a couple questions. First of all, I want to know if you switched out anything. What did you switch out? So maybe you use cookies instead of Oreos, or maybe you had to swap chocolate chips out for something. And then I want you to tell me how leaching works. So if you can, I want you to show me with your diagram how you've shown how leaching works. But if you can't, just let me know, what is leaching? What does it mean when the soil leaches down? And lastly, which one of these layers of soil is the tastiest? So do you like the Oreo layer better? Do you like the gummy worms? Do you like just the cream? Let me know. And yeah, bye.